Welcome to the Meet Nika Futterman panel. I am not Nika, obviously. Thank you for coming out. We do have a very tight schedule this morning, so when we get to the Q&A, I do have a hard stop at 12:30. So I apologize if you don't get your questions, but otherwise, we'll get things started. And without further ado,
Sweet. Hi, everybody. I see some familiar faces. Thanks so much for coming out and liking me. I guess I'm supposed to talk. I mean, I guess you're here because, you already know, some of what I've done or all of what I've done, or a mix of both. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
I've been doing voiceover a long time. I think some of you who were at the other thing I did yesterday, I think the first thing that I ever did was Hey Arnold. And when I auditioned for Hey Arnold, it was literally like the first time that I ever sort of found out that people did voiceover for a living. And I was like, whoa, this is really fun. And so after getting that part, I sort of slowly stopped doing on-camera work, which I'd been doing at the time, regular television. And and I was also trying to be a rock star. I found that voiceover sort of suited who I am, and I decided to quit everything else, and so then the rest is kind of history. And I was just I always forget what I've done, because I've been doing it for so long and my brain doesn't work so well. So oftentimes people will ask me like, oh, I saw you in blah, 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 or ask me something about a character, and I'm like, oh, wow, it's been so long, I don't even remember doing that, So I was trying to think about, how I should start this or introduce myself, and it's kind of hard to list off, my work, since I've been doing it for, almost 30 years. So I was thinking that instead of doing that, since you're probably here because you already kind of know what I've done, I was thinking we should spend more time having people ask questions instead of me, right? Then we have more time. You can ask me anything you want. Don't be shy. So, how do you want to do this?
Well, since we don't have a wireless microphone, everyone just wants to throw up their hand and I'll see who I spot first.
Yeah. Anybody want to start off? Don't be shy.
The gentleman in the book.
I can't hear you. I know what you said.
Yeah, come up here to ask your question.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if
Since there's no wireless mic, I guess. I know it's kind of a bummer. Oh, you're Nika, yay! Yeah, so I think that's best, right? Instead of me listing off my work, just come and ask me, and then if you want me to list off things or whatever. But
right. So if you have a question, just come up to this table, pick up the microphone, and ask your question.
yeah. Anybody? Bueller?
Anyone? No.
Everyone's being shy.
Everyone's being
Oh
shy.
no, here's a non-shy
We have Harley
person.
Quinn.
That's okay, because I'm shy too. Hi.
Do you have a character that you resonate the most with?
Good question. This gets asked a lot, if I have a favorite character, or if I, and I always kind of, I think about this a lot. And it's kind of like, doing what I do, it's like the best job in the world. So it's sort of like, how could I have any favorite character? But I definitely, yesterday when I was thinking about this or answering this question, of course I love Ventress. because she's multi-layered and I love kick-ass chicks. And I think over the life of her, she kind of got to be this multi-layer character that I love so much. And I was loving where she was going until we got canned. But, you know, so I'm hoping that there's a future somewhere for her. But so she's one of my favorites, of course. And I'm loving playing Luna Loud. I don't know if anybody watches Nickelodeon or watches the Loud House, but Luna's awesome because I also get to sing. So since I kind of quit trying to be a rock star a long time ago, it's always fun when, you know, you get an opportunity to do what you love, which I love singing. So I love her, and I love her happiness and joy, and I kind of relate to that. And then I love Stix because she's nuts. And I always love doing comedy, and so I love her. But again, I say, I'm so in gratitude that I get to do this job. So everything that I do, even when it's difficult, I love. You know, yeah. So long-winded answer to your question. Anybody else have a question?
Come on up.
Oh,
Hi.
hi. Speaking of Styx, what's your favorite line from her?
Oh gosh. I should have had this stuff ready. I'm new in the con world, so I should always have that ready because I don't actually remember my favorite Styx. That's so lame of me. I think everything that comes out of Styx's mouth, though, is pretty awesome. I mean, you know, she's a nut job, and I can relate to that. But I also just think she's super funny, and I was so happy when I got to, like, it's very rare when you get to play, like, a super, like, actual crazy person. And, well, she doesn't think she's crazy. She thinks she's normal. But, so, yeah, pretty much everything she says is my favorite. But that is a lame answer, and I'm sorry that I didn't have something ready for it. I should always have, like, a Styx line, an Asajj line, all of those ready to say what my favorite is. I'm gonna work on that. That's gonna be my homework for my next con. Thank you for that. Anybody? Hi.
Hello. Do you have any memorable experiences working on Avatar?
Wow. Well, Avatar was so long ago, and you know, I've got an old brain. So, but you know, the thing about Avatar, and I didn't get to work on it that long, but it was back in the day. It was like in my early times at Nickelodeon. I mean, I've been working for Nickelodeon for, you know, like 25 years. So it was way back in the day. And I would say this, the thing that I remember most about Avatar was that the cast was so amazing. And I didn't realize how huge Avatar was till years later, and like what a fan base. Like even my family watched it. I always tell everybody, and this is a true story, that I've never seen anything I've ever done. So I've never watched that. I've never seen any show I've ever done, which is kind of a weird thing. I don't know what it is that I don't like watching or listening to myself after I do something. But my family actually watched Avatar and they were obsessed with it. So it was like really fun, you know, even hearing from them. So, but that is what I remember most, is the amazing cast that I got to work with. And I've worked with some really, really great casts over the years, but Avatar was like one of those really special, you know. And then since it was so long ago, watching what everyone in that cast had ended up going on and doing, you know. Yeah. Sure.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, but I know we worked on Hey Arnold. But I was gonna ask, like, with Olga and her like dysfunctional relationship with Olga, do you have any experiences with like dysfunctional family members? Like, do you have any sisters that you know that you felt like inadequate with, and your parents favored the older sibling? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny because she's the older sibling, right? But I was the youngest in my family. So, and I have a sister now, but it wasn't until much later in life that I had a sister, so I didn't grow up having a sister. I grew up with 3 brothers. It was very dysfunctional. Aren't all families dysfunctional in some way, right? So, yeah, but the Pataki family was so awesome. I mean, it was like, and we always, when we were doing hair on Arnold, and it was Kath Susie played my mom, and Maurice LaMarche played my dad. They are amazing. But we always used to have this funny thing, like we'd pretend like mom was an alcoholic and dad was like we had all these funny things that we'd kind of like say behind the scenes, and we'd act it out like that. But I 100% related to, that sibling rivalry or that sibling, like we don't understand each other or we fight all the time. I mean, my brothers would do things like I'd take a shower and they'd like sneak in and pour like a whole bottle of lotion over my head and, things like that. I think with Olga and Helga, they just, they were so different that there just was no relating, But I think she was like, I want you to love me. I just want you, you are my favorite baby sister. I mean, you're actually my only sister, but I love you. That, and of course, Helga was just thoroughly annoyed by Olga. Olga was pretty annoying, So yeah, I do relate, and I think everybody in this audience relates to the dysfunction of family, and I thought that they were the perfect example of that. That was very fortunate that was my first job ever. Yeah. Hello.
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 Oh, is this working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. I actually have a new question. It's kind of coming off of what you were talking about with Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had any fun cast stories working on Hey Arnold and Sonic Boom, because if I'm correct, both of them are relay shows, so you got to hang out with the other cast members.
Yes.
I wonder if you have any fun stories.
Gosh, fun stories. Again, these are like things I need to think about because that's often questions that people ask, and my memory is so bad. It's hard to answer that because it's like when you record with a whole cast, every day it's fun. Every record is fun because everybody, it's like voiceover people are different than doing on-camera stuff. Voiceover people are just we're all just a bunch of geeksters hanging out, just geeking out and just having fun, and everybody's so nice and funny and crazy, and nobody holds back, nobody has to be cool, and it's just a bunch of people that really love what they do. So both, with the Sonic cast, all these casts that are big, they're so amazing. The thing about Hey Arnold was, it was my first job, so I got to work with Maurice LaMarche and Kat Susie, who had already been doing voiceover they were old school then, they had been doing it a long time. So every experience was super funny and super, great. Sonic was much later, and working with someone like Roger Craig Smith, he's awesome. I don't know if you guys have I don't know, I haven't worked with him at another con or anything, so I don't know how often he does cons, but he's an incredibly talented dude. And then Colleen and Travis is awesome. My brain's not working. Cindy Robinson. Oh, like everybody is so good in the cast, and when you end up working on a show together for, you know, well, we did 2 seasons, you get super close, and so every session is super funny and super great. I can't really think of like a specific thing that happened. It's just every session is a joy, and every session is like you have to spend your whole time trying not to laugh, you know, or like you have to try to like keep it together and get through the thing. But you know, the cool thing about voiceover people too is that, like, you know, everybody's like really quick, you know, so like you can get through a session, so it's like you can spend a lot of time laughing, and everyone makes jokes like throughout the whole session, and you know, it's pretty awesome. But again, forgive my not exact answer, but it's the best job in the world, and it's incredible joy every moment. And it's pretty rare nowadays. You know, you don't get to work with whole casts anymore ever since COVID. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, I actually thought it was Sticks line.
What? Tell me.
I don't know how to remember this, but I think it went something like the robo-apocalypse is nigh.
Oh yeah. The robo-apocalypse is nigh. Right.
I think that was in one of the trailers.
That was, oh gosh, I gotta write down some of her lines because some of them are just so classic and ridiculous. Thank you for that,
Yeah,
though.
because when she said that, I had no idea what she was talking about.
Anyone else? Come on up and get a lane.
We can form a line.
I don't know if you remember, but you played Benny in Nights. I was wondering if
Benny
you
and Typecasting Nights, I keep saying to people, I'm like, yes, the cons, you know, it's like I've done so few anime, but you remember what I've done.
I'm supposed to be Ceylon Jones from it.
Really?
Yeah. Not a lot of people know about it, just met a couple fans.
I know, nobody knows about Tenkai Nights.
Yes, 10 years this year. I can miss it. I remember one of our, like, from the one episode or whatever, and he was like, oh my! Did you have a power surge? Because she was trying to distract the enemy.
Right. Oh wow, see, I'm so happy that someone actually knows the one anime that I've ever done. I mean, I've done some video games, but otherwise, anime is hard to do. Anime is like a whole thing, you know? It's very different when you do anime because you have to animate to someone else's timing. Where what I do, they animate to my voice. Way easier. Yeah. Thanks for knowing my show.
Hello.
Oh, hi, I know you.
Yes. So, 2 things. So the first question from yesterday's panel, we were talking about the acting classes.
Yes, yes.
So, where and how long did you do acting classes from what stages to go to from each individual parts? And the second thing is, I think I remember your voice from the Halo 3 line talking about the Banshees fast and low.
My gosh. Wow, see, look at that. See, you know more than I. Because a lot of times fans will be like, remember that line from blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, gosh, no. Thank you for knowing that. That's so awesome. So, but with the acting class thing, you were asking my experiences or a recommendation?
Like recommendations.
A recommendation. Okay, so this is the thing, because when they were talking about, like, with voice, a lot of times when people want to get into voiceover, they're like, yeah, people tell me I have a cool voice, right? Or they tell me, like, right? And I'm like, that's awesome when you have a cool voice. But number one, you want to have many cool voices, because if you only have one cool voice, then you're not going to, you know, get that many jobs. So you're trying to make a living. So what they're trying to say is if you start from the acting place, right, and wherever you live, you got to go get comfortable. Like look for me, I mean, I spent my whole, you know, childhood taking acting classes, whether it was in school or outside of school, and then I went to college for acting. So wherever you can find, I mean, I say 2 different kinds of acting classes, like a regular acting classes, scene study, And then another really good thing to do that is also super fun is a improv class. Because the thing about being a voiceover person is they don't, like, they'll direct you in the session, but if you want to keep working, you have to be able to, like, take this line that sometimes you get the script the night before and you got to be able to riff. So that's what makes the best voiceover people are people that can riff. And that's what we learn in an improv class. And you want to get to the place where you don't feel comfortable being a total freakazoid. Yeah.
Hey.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Was there ever a character that you struggled to relate to or find a voice for? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Well, in terms of jobs that happens all the time where, like, I audition for things and I'm like, I can't, and I know there's someone this happens a lot. I'll get an audition and I'll think, there's like 20 other chicks out there who can crush it way better than I can. And so I'll pass on the audition because I'd rather not give an audition that sucked. But if I've already gotten the part, it means that I somehow connected with it. And it's not that, I'll say, luckily in my career, I haven't been replaced too many times, but I've definitely been replaced a few times where, let's see, I can't remember the name of the character, but if anyone ever watched, was it, it was a show on Cartoon Network, and my brain's not working right now, because they ended up just throwing me other roles, but I had booked this job that it was this kid, this bald kid. They didn't really know what they wanted for the kid, and it was a boy, but he looked kind of like a man. And I had this really funny idea for the character. And, oh man, I gotta look this up. And it was on the show Clarence. I don't know if anyone ever watched Clarence. No one ever watched Clarence. But anyway, it was this show. And they hired me because they thought what I did was funny. And it was like, I went into the session, the first couple of sessions, and I was doing it. I can't remember what he sounded like, but he sort of, I can't even remember what he sounded like. But anyway, in the session, it was so uncomfortable because the director was directing me and I was doing what I thought was right. And after telling me that they loved everything I was doing, they replaced me with Tom Kenny. But, and that guy sucks. I mean, right?
Well, I mean, clearly the show didn't make it, so they made the mistake.
No, he was awesome, but so sometimes it happens where, like, they think they love you for something and they love your idea for it, and then they change their mind and replace you. Luckily, it hasn't happened too many times, but that is the only one that I can think of that it was like, I really thought I got who this kid was, and they obviously did not think I did.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hi.
Hi. So my question has to do with your character work. Like, can you go through the creative process for, like, how do you come up with your ideas for the voices? Do you draw from people in your life? That kind of thing.
I think this is where the acting part comes in, right? Because I think naturally, if you start off being an actor, that those things, it's like being an artist, you know, like people go like, how do you paint that, or how can you draw that? And it just like comes. And I said yesterday, I used this thing, and then somehow it comes from the universe. Like all of a sudden, it's like you see this character, and you're like, oh.
There it is.
And I feel it, and it's just like, it just comes through you. So there isn't something that I do, that I practice, you know, to kind of like connect. I think that everybody has their thing. And if you truly find your thing, it just naturally comes to you. It's like somehow a voice comes to you. Sometimes it's from a picture and I'm like, that's what I think that character sounds like. Or sometimes it comes from a description and I can relate to it on some level, whether it's me or like one of my brothers or some kind of thing. So every character, it's a completely different thing, but for the most part, it comes from the universe, sending it into my body and then I am just that character.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
First, do you know much about D&D before I ask this?
No, I don't know
Okay.
a whole lot about D&D. One of my brothers was like a huge, massive D&D fan.
That's fine. I have a backup question.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite part of the convention so far?
How nice everybody is. Like, it's such a joy because I was saying yesterday, this is basically like my second real con, except for back in the day when I did some stuff for work, like at Comic-Con and stuff. And that was mostly because even though I love humans, people connecting, I always get shy in crowds. And so when I started thinking last year, like, I'm gonna say yes to this instead of no, it's been so awesome because everybody's so nice, and I just feel like, you know, it's just like, you know, why I'm here, so I can meet you guys, and it's like such a, I think that's for sure, like what's been the best is that everybody's so sweet. Everybody makes me feel so good. Yeah.
That's great. Hi.
Hi.
Quick question. Have you ever cosplayed one of your characters before?
No.
If you would though, which like one or two would you do? If you kind of think.
Well, so I keep thinking that like I want to shave my head again because like for a long time I wanted to shave my head. I mean, I had a shaved head like when I was in my 20s, and then like 15 years later I shaved my head again. And I keep really wanting to shave my head, so of course I would love to play Ventress.
Shave your head, I recommend it. It's
Oh,
a great idea.
it's the best ever. And I want to shave my head, but my kid is like, Mom, you're already enough like a dude. Just keep your hair long.
I have like the undercut back here that I have.
Oh, hey, there went your hair.
Yeah, this isn't real. Sorry if you thought it was, it's not. My hair's very short. But yeah, I was just wondering, like, if you would cosplay like one or two of your characters, like.
Okay, yeah. So I would definitely. I mean, you know, it's like I totally relate to Asajj, and I totally relate to Linda Loud. So like, you know, again, like I want to just chop off my hair and be both of those chicks. Oh, hello! Oh, look at you! You're so cute.
Thank you very much. My question would be for you, with the range of voices that you can do and everything, have you ever experienced any kind of typecasting or anything in that kind of area?
Okay, first of all, I'm really trying hard to take you seriously.
Everybody does. Everybody.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to a talking bear. This is awesome. This is awesome. Okay, so what's awesome about voiceover is that you never get typecast because you can play as long as your voice can do anything, you can be anything. It's a little bit sort of tighter now because everything is much more PC, so you can't, it's harder to play other ethnicities and blah, 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 which back in the day, you could play anybody. So, but, you know, I guess, depending on the casting people, some people know me as like, you know, creature voices, you know, deep, you know, women or like that kind of stuff, or like old people. And then other people know me just as like playing kids. So in that regard, it's completely different than on camera, which I started off doing, and that is all typecasting. So that's what's amazing about voiceover, is that as long as you can have a range of voices, you know, of course, different casting people think of you as different things, and they only put you in that thing, but in general, over my career, if you look at my career, it's like everything from babies to old ladies to creatures to, you know, like, get down! Okay, yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for talking. Hello!
Hey. Can you talk about your experience recording as Pandora from Kid Crystal Rising and Zero from the Lion Guard?
Wow. Gosh. I'm not sure I can remember the first one.
Pandora from Kid Icarus Uprising.
I know, so that's like so long ago that I'd be, oh my gosh. But I can definitely talk about Zira.
Yeah.
Zero was, I was hired because I could voice match the person who played the original Zero, who sadly had passed away. And so I was like, this is so awesome. I get to be in the Lion King.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and then I got to sing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I'm in history. Like it's like, being a part of Star Wars or whatever, there are these certain, what do they call it? IP, or that like, you're just like, oh, just thinking about it, I just got the chills when they're like, you get to play Zero in the Lion King. The only bummer was that I was like, I want to be in more episodes. But that was like definitely a highlight in my career, because anytime you can be part of history, the Lion King.
Yeah.
I was totally an incredible experience. And then I got to, sing as her, and the guy that like writes a lot of songs for Disney stuff is so his name's Bo Black, and he writes so much stuff for all of Disney. So that, like, I got to work with him, and that was unbelievable. Yeah.
What I just wanted to say, I just finished rewatching Avatar on Friday night, so it was really cool watching Smellerby and then getting to meet you. And then my question actually was, you said a couple times, like this panel and yesterday, that you wanted to be a rock star, and I was a little curious to see what kind of music you'd like to play and sing and everything, or if you played an instrument as well.
Well, I'm a really crappy guitar player. I'm definitely not a musician, but I wish I was. But I played enough back in the day when I was trying to be a rock star that I was writing my own music. I grew up, my dad was a music producer, so I grew up like touring with my dad and his bands and all that kind of stuff. So, it always made me want to be a rock star. And I guess the kind of music that I was trying to do was kind of like a mix of, like, I don't know if you could sort of like mix rock and jazz. Yeah. So now I just sing whatever anybody hands to me. But and now I'm older, so I don't think the rock star thing is ever going to happen, except in the world of cartoons.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hello. So hi for the Sonic fan dubbing community. We love you very much, and thank you so much for your work with Styx.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was wondering, has there ever been another voice actor that's really inspired you in all your years of doing this?
There are a lot of them. So many of them. I work with like such amazing people now, but when I was coming up, it was like I got to work with like some of the first shows I was working with were like with like Mark Hamill, Billy West, Jim Cummings, like I said, Kat Susi, Maurice LaMarche, all those guys coming up, they were like before me. And now I get to work with like amazing people like Gray, Lyle, and Tara, and, Cree somewhere, and like, D-Bat, Bradley Baker, he is so close to my heart, I work with so many, like everybody I work, Roger Craig Smith, like all these, I could go on and on, like Travis, there are so many amazing voiceover people, and that's the difference between like voiceover and on camera. It's like everybody's very supportive of each other, a lot of love. Yeah. So I get the list. I feel bad because I'm like, there's like a whole list of like incredible people that I work with that I look up to all of them, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Oh, hi again. You're so different.
Yeah, just a little bit. It needs help, but so we found out yesterday you were voicing Fanboy and Chum, so I just wanted to know what was your experience. We love Fanboy and Chum.
I know, that was another show that was like, it had these sort of like people either loved it or hated it. And I was hoping it was, I mean, we got 2 seasons out of it, but that was I loved doing Fanboy and Chum. And I miss working with Fanboy. He was amazing. He's an on-camera guy and a writer. So that was his first animated show he ever did. So that was, I loved Chum. I mean, some people found him really annoying. But I thought he was super cute, right? And just the scripts were great. And the creator, Eric, that was like his first baby. And so, it was so incredible working with him. Eric Robles. Yeah.
Good work.
Thank you so much. Oh, hi.
Hello. I thought of another question.
What? Is it going to be difficult, and then I'm going to be lame and not be able to answer?
Well, I guess we'll see. You mentioned a couple times before about actors being replaced with other actors.
Yeah.
And so I thought of I was curious on what your take was on that. For example, James Bond isn't played by just one actor, he's played by many.
Yes.
So I was wondering what your take was. Would you prefer one person playing one role for as long as they can, or would you want many people playing that role?
That's a really good question, actually.
I guess I can call it the James Bond formula.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a difference, because I wouldn't necessarily call that being replaced, right? Because there's a difference when they're just like, listen, you're not going to cut the mustard, and I'm sorry, and then you get replaced. Whereas different iterations of shows, they just decide they want to try something new, and so it's like new creators or new, so that the whole cast is new. Occasionally they'll keep one person from a cast or whatever, but for the most part, when they have, when you're no longer Catwoman or what, there's been a billion Catwoman. But again, it's like you're like, yay, I'm part of history, but I'm just Catwoman in this show. I think that's really cool. I mean, I wouldn't want someone to replace Ventress. And for some reason, they may not, but Gray was in the initial 3-minute shorts in Cartoon Network shoot, but we had completely different, ideas. The character hadn't been kind of really formed yet. But I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I was just curious.
I mean, of course, when you play a character and you love it, you hope that you're that character in every single.
Yeah, I was just curious because different actors, nobody wants to be replaced, honestly.
No, nobody wants to be replaced. But like I said, if you notice, the whole cast just changes most of the time. So that I can handle. It's like when you're actually replaced, where you're just like, I suck. I feel so insecure. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Hi.
This is about Cuckoo Loca.
Oh, thank you for.
I usually catch myself doing this to my daughter all the time because she's more sarcastic towards Minnie and Daisy.
Yes.
Do you usually catch yourself sometimes saying any voiceovers to some of your kids?
Oh, all the time. But my kid never wants to hear my voice. She thinks it's annoying. Because if you have a mom who does voiceover, you just think she's weird, and I embarrass her. But I do it all the time anyway. But Cuckoo, thank you for knowing Cuckoo Loca, because I love her so much, and she's such a great story.
Yeah.
With Cuckoo Loca, with Disney, they have a very specific idea, especially with characters like Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and everybody. That years ago, I got the chance to become part of their core group when they decided to add in a new character. Minnie's bird. Most of you probably don't watch the Mickey Mouse one, but if you have little kids, a lot of people do. So anyway, so she's this really cute looking bird, and And so initially they were just assuming it would be a cute sounding voice. But I was like, what happens if we, instead of do that, we make her sound like Joe Pesci, you know? and so then they loved it, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna add a little edge to the Disney World. And so I recorded like 7 episodes, and then they came back and they're like, ooh, the big people upstairs, they're like, nah, we need to make her cute. So we're gonna have to go back to your original cute idea. So then I recorded we went back, we re-recorded the first episodes, and I recorded another few episodes in this cute voice. And then they came back and they're like, no, we're going back to the original. So then she ended up sounding like Joe, a little cute, with big eyelashes, sounding like Joe Pesci. And it stuck.
Yep.
Now she's like in, you know, all the shows. So it's cool.
Yeah, because it's funny, like hearing like the perfect gift from the Christmas special.
Yeah.
For like 15 times throughout the Christmas season, right, Caleb?
Right? And then it's good because it like adds a little edge, right?
Yeah.
And everything's not so syrupy and sweet.
Yeah.
She's like, and then she also gets to be like the comedic tiny, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for knowing her. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you speak on the difference between voice acting when you started to voice acting now?
You mean the industry or me in
The industry, like what could you
Oh,
before
yeah,
you
it's
used to
totally
do in
different
groups and now you're by yourself? Can you just talk more about that?
I can say both. Hello, bear. Okay. You're cracking me up. Okay, yeah, I can say this. I can say the voiceover industry is very, very different now than it was when I started. But you know how I talked about how everybody's just like so cool and inclusive and funny and just a bunch of like, you know, we're all just a bunch of like geeksters hanging out, blah, 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 blah. There was nothing Hollywood about it back in the day. And it was sort of this like smaller group of people that just loved doing what they did, and as the years have progressed, it's kind of like this thing that everybody wants to do, right? So then every on-camera person wanted to be part of like, you know, a cartoon because maybe they were having kids or whatever. So it's become much more Hollywood. So a lot of times when you do a show, it's like they always want to have a celebrity come and be on the show or whatever, which changes the dynamic on many levels. Like the producers are just like, and then and then it makes the sessions a lot longer because, you know, I'm not saying that there aren't, you know, live action actors who are amazing at voiceover. There are many, but the thing is, there's a lot of times it's a completely different art form, so it makes the session much longer. And if you're not used to doing voiceover, sometimes you can kind of you can be a little bit uncomfortable if you don't have like a set that you're on, you know, or you're not in the environment. So it's a different kind of acting, you know. So it's also now that like every movie is all celebrities, you know. So it's like they hire the celebrity and then they hire people like us to like play 20 roles and pay us, you know, like a fraction of. It's just a very different thing. So
are you still like in a room talking to each other, or you guys in groups separately, or is it?
No. Everybody records together, and then sometimes, you know, it's just become like it's just a lot more Hollywood. And then also like with influencers, you know, it's like now you do like a lot of shows, and it's like, who's this person? I've never seen this voiceover. No, they're an influencer, you know. So it's kind of changed, and it's sort of a bummer because what's so great about voiceover, it's just a bunch of like normal people who are being crazy and are really good at what they do, instead of like how many likes or how many people follow you or how many, you know, all that stuff, which I think is kind of sad in a way, you know. And then for me, what's happened over my career is that, of course, you know, the older you get in life, the more you like are okay with yourself. So I think that like now I just feel more confident in what I do. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that the animation, when doing American animation, they animate to your voice.
Yes.
Can you describe the major differences between dubbing like a Japanese animation versus doing American animation?
Yeah, absolutely. you know, because just dubbing in general, because you know, when you're a voiceover person, you know, you do animation, you do video games, you do other things, commercials, or like even movies, dubbing for movies. So dubbing for movies and anime, you know, are very similar. You have to get really good at timing because you have a very specific amount of time that you can say a line. So if someone's speaking in Japanese and you have to follow what they do and sort of sound similar, it's difficult. I think it's really difficult. So I think people who do anime are like, it's a very specific talent, which I don't have. And it takes a lot of practice, I think, or, you know, but there are some anime people who like, that's what they came up doing. So they find it to be really, really easy. You know, in regular animation, cartoon voices, they animate to your voice now. It used to not be that way, but now everything is digital and done on a computer. So you do the lines, and then a year later, picture comes back with your voice attached. And that's the difference. Yeah? It got very quiet. Well, thank you guys for supporting me and what I do. I so appreciate the love, and this has been so awesome. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'm going to be signing some more in a little while if people want to come by. I'll be here for the rest of the day. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful life. Rock on, Bear.